Hi everybody, this is Luis Lopez, and in this video I'm going to show you step by step how you can make this super cool praying mantis. This is one of the most popular insects that I make. People really like them. They can look really nice as a decoration item in your house or out in your yard. So let's get started. Let's look at the tools that we're going to use today. I have two sets of needle nose pliers, but we only really need ones. So I really like this kind, but you can use any kind of needle nose pliers that you have around. We're going to need wire cutters. These are really sharp, so be careful, don't get them too close to your fingers. We need some tape measure or a ruler, whatever you have around. I really recommend this kind. It's really practical. Of course, we're gonna need aluminum wire. I guess you could use copper, but copper is a little harder than aluminum, so I would recommend that if you're learning, try to use aluminum. It's so much softer and easier to maneuver than copper. This particular size or thickness is 20 gauge. You could also use 22 or 18, but this is the perfect size, 20 gauge. I wouldn't use any thicker than 18 or any thinner than 22. Okay, and we're also going to need a couple of these plastic beads or glass beads, whatever you can have or find in your craft store to make the eyes. Something important that you need to know about these beads is that if you get them from the craft store, make sure that the wire that you're gonna use can go through the bead easily. I made a mistake in the past of buying them, and then the wire's too thick and they're useless if you can get the wire to go through it. So there. Alright, let's start by taking our aluminum wire here, and what we need is two 15 inch long pieces of wire. And this is why I really like this tape measure. So we mark it there with our thumb, and we use our needle nose pliers. Our cutters, and just cut it. Then I don't need to measure again. I just put them together like that. Stretch it out and cut it. There you go. So we're going to put these two right here, and without mixing them together, let's take our wire and our tape measure and measure 16-inch long piece of wire. 16-inch. There. So we're going to need 7 of these 16-inch long, which I went ahead and cut them before I started the video just to make it a little faster. So I have them all here. So now that we have them all, we're just gonna put them aside for now. We're not gonna use them, but we're gonna take our 15-inch long wires and put in the ends together like that. You take the other end, put them together like that, hold them with your fingers, and gently we're going to fold these two pieces of wire in half like that. Using your fingers, you can squeeze in the center like that to get them as close as possible, And then you take your needle nose pliers and squeeze together like this. Not too hard. You don't want to break the wire. You do the same with the other one. Just gently squeeze it like that. And there we have it. So we keep them here. Now we take the 7 pieces of 16-inch long wires, and we're going to do the same process. We're going to take both ends as close as possible there, hold them with your fingers, and gently fold it in half like that. So for these 7 pieces, there's no need to squeeze them tight like we did with this ones. Okay, so just bringing them close together like that is good enough. So we're gonna put them aside again. Now we take our center wires. I call them center wires because we're gonna do most of the work using these 2 wires. And you take one of your 16-inch long and you do this process. You bring it in like that, and you bring this end over like that, and this end bring it over like that, kind of holding it together in a loop. This is what it looks like. Let me show you the other side. Okay, very simple. You do that. Now it's important that this process you do it at the end where the wires come together, not where the ends are loose. Okay, on this side. So we take another of our 16-inch long wires. You do the same process. You bring it like that. You bring this wire up like this. There. Okay. There you have it. See what it looks like. There you go. Now I'm going to show you something so you don't make the mistake. This is something that you don't do. We have to keep the wires folded in an even way. So when you do the opposite, your wires are going to look off. So take a look at this. If you put the wire here and you bring this end under, you bring this wire this way under this wire, check it out, it looks off. And that's something that you don't want to do because it just doesn't look nice and it throws it off. You see these 2 wires are here together, close together. This wire, there's a gap between the second and the third. We don't want that. So be very careful. It's really easy to make the mistake to do that. So to fix it, I just undo this and bring my wire, this wire under this one, and this wire over. There. Okay, now all these wires look close together. That's what we want. Okay, I hope there's no confusion there, but I needed to make a point on that. So we keep doing the same thing. We are going to put all 7 of our 16-inch long wires on this process. So that's 6. We got 1 more. So you see how I left these tips sticking out? The reason why is because we're going to fold them in like this with your needle nose pliers. Just fold them in, and that will help keep our wires from slipping out of place. So you fold both ends in like this. There you go. Now, something I forgot to mention is that you don't want to pull too hard on these wires, because what we need is a little bit of movement. And if your wires are too tight, it will be really hard to move them around. So if they are too tight, what you do is just grab both ends and gently just fold in to make them loose. See how they move around now? We need that. So if they are too tight, you're gonna have a hard time doing one of the steps that we are gonna do in the future. So just be careful of that. Okay, so what I did, this is how I started. Once we finish putting the 7 wires in, you kind of just flip it. Now we're looking at the underside. Okay, so the next step is going to be measuring from this end to the center. You're gonna measure about 2.5 inches where that number 6 is. That's centimeters, 2.5 inches. And I'm gonna place my thumb there. And I'm going to take this first wire right here, bring it to the center, pull a little hard. Don't leave it too loose like that or too close to the center. Just something kind of in between. And bring it close to my thumb, and I go under, over, and pull gently. You see that? That's what you need to do. You need to remember this, because we're going to repeat this process over and over again. Okay, so now we take this side and you bring it to the center again. Remember, don't make it too wide or too close, something like that. Bring it into the center. I always put my thumb here to keep it tight, and you go over under, and you push it to the other side like that. There you go. So now we're going to take next wire in line, which is this one, and we're going to repeat the process. There. Yeah, I bring my thumb here, squeeze a little, and go under and over to this side, and repeat with the other side. Bring my wire in, put my thumb in there just to keep it tight. Okay, there. So we're gonna do that with the first 4 wires. So this is number 3. There, number 3. Okay, we take the other side. Okay, we're gonna do one more. There. Okay, now we have 4 wires on each side. See? Okay, now our next step it's to these left wires here, these leftover wires, we're gonna slide them towards the center like that. That's why we needed some freedom of movement in the beginning. So we're gonna slide them to the center like that, as close as possible, and we're gonna restart the process. I'm gonna take this wire, fold it around like that, and then of course we're gonna take this one, fold it around, and then we're gonna do this one until we do the last 3 wires that were left. Now remember, don't need to apply too much force, but you don't want it to loose either. There's got to be something in between, and it's gonna take you practice. So don't expect it to come out beautiful the first time, but if it does, congratulations. Okay, this is what we got so far. Now what we're going to do is separate these 4 wires from these 3. You can see that these 3 are longer, so these 4 wires are gonna be separated from these 3 because we're gonna get back to them later. Okay, so from this point on, it's a process of elimination. We're going to start eliminating wires until we get to the end. So what we do is take this wire and repeat the same process, but now it's getting smaller. See, our braiding is getting smaller and smaller through the process of eliminating wires. There, we go over, under, loop it around like that, and in a minute I'll show you how I know when to stop, because we can keep doing this forever and we don't want to do it too much because we need some loose wire to do our next step. So I just keep repeating the process over and over. There. Okay, we're gonna go one more time. Okay, so what I do is I count every loop that I did from here, from the thickest part. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I skipped a number there. So it's 7 loops, and that's where I'm going to stop. The other way that you can know is one of your wires is getting too short. You see how this one is short and these are long? That's where we stop. And we're going to separate these 2 wires from this one and this one. And we're going to continue doing the process with these 2. Okay, so what I do is I start with this one, and I just go under and over like that. Then I take this wire, go under and over, go under, over, there and over, under and over. I just do maybe about half an inch, and that should be good enough. So this is what we got so far. I can see that many of you are already getting the idea where we're going with this. So what we do now is these 2 wires here, we're gonna use them to make the eyes of our praying mantis, and I'll show you how. So we take our 2 plastic beads, and what I'm going to do is put the bead there, make it go through it. Then I take my wire cutters and I cut about 1/2 inch away from the bead. Just cut it off like that. Then we take our needle nose pliers and gently taking the end, fold it in like that. Small little loop like a hook. And then you take it again and you flatten it against the bead. Simple. Okay. Now we do the other side. We make sure that the bead goes through all the way. And you take about 1/2 inch. Bring your needle nose pliers. Take the end of it, fold it in like that, and then flatten it against the loop. That will keep the bead from coming out. Just keep it in place. Okay. Now what we have here, you have 4 and loose wires. You have 4. So at this point, what we're going to do is separate 2 of them. Just push them to the back like that. These are going to be our antennas for our praying mantis. And these are going to become part of the head. So I'll show you what we do next. You see, they are a little uneven, so what I try to do is just try to keep them as even as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. But at this point, what we do is take our needle nose pliers, and really I don't measure anything. I just go by eyeballing it about 1/2 inch again. I place my needle nose and gently fold it all the way to the back like that. Then I grab the wire by the end, put my thumb here, and I just loop it around the eyes. Sometimes the end sticks out like that, so I just use my pliers and gently squeeze it in to tuck it in so it doesn't stick out. See? Now we do the exact same process. Take a needle nose pliers, grab it there, fold it in gently, and I take this and put my thumb here to keep like just a grip on it. Go around it gently. There. Be careful not to poke your fingers, so use your pliers instead. There. You see how it looks a little off? Just gently touch it, pull it down like that. See? Cute little face. Okay, so now we go back and take these 2 wires, and what I do is take my tape measure and measure about 1 inch, put my thumb in there. Okay, so put my thumb in there, and this wire here, the one on this side, we're going to use it to fold it in an angle like this, like an L. Okay, and then what I do is I take this part, loop it around going under and over. And you really don't want it too tight either, but you don't want it loose, so I will just squeeze it a little bit with my pliers, not too much. We're making the praying mantis's arms now, or pinchers, whatever you want to call it. So that's the first step. Now what we do is I use my fingers to curve it a little bit, like this. You see? And this wire over here will come up like that. Yeah. So once you do that, you see we're forming the other part of the pinchers. So what I do is I take the longest wire. Look how this one is longer, this one is short. Took the longest. Sometimes they are even, but you don't really want to use the short one, use the longest. And then I do the same step. I fold it around like that. You see? Now you see where we're going with this, right? And we basically just repeat the process. You bring this one down, bring this wire in, fold it in a curve, and I will bring my pliers now because it's becoming too short, and I just grab the end of it and just loop it around and squeeze it like that. Now this is a little long, so whatever leftovers we have, or whatever excess wire, we can just cut it. What I normally do is just gently fold it like that. And we made part of the arms now, or one of the arms. Now the other side, what I do to make them look even, it's I bring both wires down and kind of measure it against the one that you just made. And you take this wire, the closest to the head, and I fold it following the shape of the first arm that we made. You see? So wherever the angles are, wherever I fold it on the other side, I fold it on this side like this, following the pattern. There. Now we can push that arm out so it doesn't get in our way. And now what I do is taking my needle nose plier and bending the wire, making a loop on each angle like this. See? Now making that little curve there, bringing closer to this angle. This helps when you put your thumb there to just help with the strength. You bring it around, loop it. There. We're almost done with the second arm. And we just use this wire to make sure it's about the same size on the other. There. And you have a little more excess wire on this one, but that's okay, we can always eliminate it. Once you do the loop around, you cut off the excess. And I fold this one in like that. And ta-da! We got our arms. They look a little off now, but you can always come back and fix them. Don't worry about it right now. Okay, so we're almost finished it here. we take these two wires and I just use my fingers like this to gently twist the wires together. Here. They look all crooked and bad, so what I do is just my fingers to make it straight. I have a easier and faster way to do that, but you don't have to do it. I just do it when I want to be quick, and it's a little tricky, but it's really cool. So what I do, I have a wireless drill, and I stick the wires in there, and I make sure they are tight in there, and I just do this. I really like doing this. And you don't need it, but if you have a drill around, what I like about it is that it makes the twisting even, really nice and straight. So for this time I'm just gonna do it by hand, but if you do have a drill and you want to do that, that's up to you. Okay, so we're just gonna do it by hand. Okay, there you go. And this is the last leg. There. Okay, so we got 4 legs. Now let's make sure they're all the same size. So what I do is I just normally measure about 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches, and I just cut the excess of it like that, and then put the other leg next to it, just together, saving some time. And for doing the other side, I just bring this leg down and bring this leg together close to it and just cut it. And we do the same with the last leg, just so all the legs are about the same size. Okay, so let's shape up the front legs. So what I do is I just fold this leg up like that, like an L shape, following the body there, and the same with the other one there. And maybe right where the arms go down, I just fold it down like that, and I do the same with this other leg. It's kind of important to keep them about the same size, like fold at the same exact side, you know, like just keep them in shape and keep them about the same size. And to give them a little more realistic look, I fold the ends out like that. There. Now we do the back legs. I do the same thing. Take about 1/2 inch, fold it up like that. We do the same with the other one. You see how they look almost about the same angle going up there. And then I fold down. I don't really measure it, but let's measure it to give you a better idea. Maybe about 1 inch, where the inch goes, right there. Just eyeball it about 1 inch there. Put my thumb as a mark. take my needle nose pliers and just fold it down. There. I did the other one just by eyeballing it too. I don't want to measure it. It's okay. Oh, there you go. Now, just fold the ends out like that. And our praying mantis looks nice, but it looks a little stiff. So what I do is I grab the tail and I just fold it up like that, just to give it a more realistic look. And one of the things that I really like to do is I love making the head looking sideways. So what I do is I gently just grab the whole head, very gently, and just twist it like that. And I kind of bring his this part down like that. So it's kind of looking at you. And you can leave the antennas going backwards, but I really like how they look when they are pointing up or forward like that. So now you see how the legs are really close to the body. That may make your praying mantis stay out of balance. So what I do, I just spread them out like that to keep it in balance. And now your praying mantis stays. Just push it down to make sure all the legs touch the surface. And voila, there you have it, your nice cute little praying mantis. Now we have two. Okay friends, that's it for tonight. Saying tonight because I'm doing this when everybody went to sleep. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy, and just good wishes for everybody. And I thank you for watching, and I'm hoping that I'm teaching you something new, something that you can love to do and that you enjoy to do. So I'll be back with more videos, and thank you for all your support. Okay, bye bye praying mantis. Bye bye everyone. Thank you.